Absolutely it was. Oregon getting their 4th ranked win of the season. They are trending upward at the right time.
They certainly are, but for Washington, they've had home against this Oregon team.
Yeah, Oregon to serve first. And it starts with a service error. You look at these two teams. And a Pukas to the outside to Gabby Gonzalez, the transfer from Ohio State. She makes it work and gets a kill for Oregon. Them along with Kara McGee, we mentioned in the middle for Oregon, who transferred in from Baylor. Molly Wilson going to the right side. That's where Kirsten Barton. Molly Wilson to Audra Wilmes.
Obviously a 6th rotation player for this Washington team with a ton of experience.
Wilmes on the right side, and the block of Kara McGee and Mimi Collier teaming up. Here's Gabby Gonzalez. Tight, it has to be a one-handed set by Wilson to Ensley. And Kara McGee hitting by her and Grace Zilbert, and Bays winning it based on her passing numbers from Friday. Hard to stop Kara McGee.
For Oregon, but right at the libero, Georgia Murphy, and she delivers the pass.
Don't have much drop-off when you have that rotation happen for Oregon in the middle. So interesting now, we're seeing Colby Neal come in the middle, not Carson Bacon for Oregon.
Matt Ulmer, the head coach for Oregon, feels like he's got such a strong core of middle blockers that he can use all of these players.
This line, when this young lady is stepping up, Kate Thibault served them out to a 9-0 lead in set number 2 against Washington State on Friday. In that libero position. And a Pukas setting up Mimi Collier.
And Oregon taking care of that first contact and staying in system so far.
Back and forth in the last 6 points here in set number 1. And that serve will be long from the redshirt freshman. Where Oregon has a lot of depth in the middle, that's the opposite for Washington. They have 2 really young middles, and because of injuries, that's kind of where it ends. Zilbert rotates in. She was the other one battling for that libero position. Molly Wilson going backside to Wilmes. Wilmes has to save it. Barton with the swing. And it's a point for Washington as it's touched.
On the Oregon block.
Pukas serving at Barton. Wilmes looking for down the line. No.
Resilience and a fantastic scouting report. So taking those.
Tries to dump it over her head with one hand. It sends Washington scrambling. Kara McGee in the middle.
Takes it and gets herself in a position to score.
It was a 5-2 run right now for Oregon. Kara McGee 3 for 3. And then Washington answers in the middle.
Attack starts with a great pass and then the quick set.
To us about Wessels, and she's one that's newer to volleyball, played a lot of basketball growing up, but she loves the fact that she's so willing and eager to learn.
Still could not stop her.
Daly McClellan
for Washington.
Last season, Daly was bothered with some back issues, ended up missing the beach season in the spring to have surgery, but she's back for Oregon. Here comes Mimi Collier firing down the line.
Good cross court, getting away from Gabby Gonzalez. She got a little bit what to do.
I think the key was trying not to get into her head too much about it. Just a tiny little thing here or there. Zilbert going down the line at Thibault. And it results in a 3-ball back to Washington. Wilson pushing it out to Barton. Collier will take the swing. Wilson calls her own number. Gabby Gonzalez ready, and here comes Mimi Collier again. Barton, roll shot. Pukas behind the head, saved by Bays. And in flies Audra Wilson. Is going to bring in Casey Litzow, and we mentioned them trying to run a 6-2. She was the other setter that they were using in that 6-2 system. Raises the tape and goes over. Pukas going backside to Colby. Funny. They took buses to the arena today, and the bus that had Hannah Pukas and some of the other players in it took a wrong turn. So they were a little late.
Very delayed. And Matt Ulmer was not stressed about it.
No.
I was looking around going, where is the van? And he was like, not stressed at all.
He's like, they'll be here eventually. They did get time to warm up.
They don't even get a swing out of it. Right to the campfire. The back row have to step up and take that free ball because the front row
is there. Collier will take it on the left side. Coming back. Free ball to Oregon. Pukas.
All the way. She has been fantastic in the first set.
Yeah, first set, Holly.
6 kills on 8 swings, and she's getting it done from both pins. She hit the ball for Oregon, and she's a really important part of this offense. Put up a wall on Gabby Gonzalez, shutting down that line.
So now Hannah Pukas with the chance to serve for the Ducks. Molly Wilson has to take a run to set that ball up to Wilmus. Pukas back to Lewis. She keeps on rolling.
And Matt Ulmer talked about it. She's a second-year player for this Oregon team. Wilson goes back to Wilmus. Tape, redirect, and Lewis.
And it's dumped over by Molly Wilson. There it is. Hit 120 in the opening set. Hensley.
And then you see another area 5. It can be really easy if you don't hit it right.
Yeah. Maddie Inslee.
To that area 1, missing by inches. Defensive specialist.
Into the middle with Haynes.
Back players need to collapse into that middle when they see it.
Gonzalez handled that pattern.
Good movement between the 2 passers for to Gabby Gonzalez. They found their rhythm, and again,
I think 157 against Oregon. Although when you hit 20 points, that race to 5 points, a lot of teams call that getting in the red zone.
It's when you need to execute and finish the match.
Gonzalez just pushes it over. Bays, the bump set to Maddie Inslee. Pukas to Morgan Lewis. Audra Wilmus with the roll shot. Morgan Lewis.
Because they've already established their middles, which stresses out the Washington's middle dynamic. Look at her get to that tight first contact.
So interesting. I will tell you right now, I do not envy the selection committee this year.
Me neither. It's a 10-person committee out these numbers, and there's so much parity across the country. The decisions that have to be made, it's challenging. Taking care of that first contact, good gap set. Karen McGee late because Pukas can just run that offense from anywhere.
You saw that swing by Karen McGee with Halloween coming up. I don't know if that's a trick. It's definitely not a treat. Having to defend McGee. Back to her. Katie Wessels was up for the challenge that time. Bays with the bump set to Barton. Wilmus will set it over to the Ducks. And that was the original call that they did touch it.
And they whistled in the middle of the rack about how hard it is to be a middle blocker. You have to be watching that ball. Eye work and hand.
comes Barton. And that
Been such a high level of volleyball, and 3 of the former Ducks, actually 4, Brooke Nuneviller, Willow Johnson, Amanda Benson, and I know I'm forgetting something, and Brooke Nuneviller, the human highlight reel.
You mentioned her twice.
Oh, I did. Okay, well, she deserves it. And Willow Johnson, did I say her?
Free ball sneaks over the net. And Barton puts
Play by Oregon to stay in this rally, and here's a free ball for Washington. Fastball in the big arm of...
free ball for Washington. Coming back though. The Will miss with authority behind that. Mimi Collier flying.
And I love the hustle. Teams just throwing their bodies, finally get the ball over. They reset, but...
Inslee trying to go after. It's been Colby Neal, who's played another middle spot opposite.
With her hands, this is an out-of-system play. Everybody knows where it's going. Morgan Lewis.
More 8th time on the season. Inslee coming after it with some heat. Kirsten Barton, tight, and the Oregon block, who has been so good today, seals a sweep for the Ducks. 2 players in double figures as Oregon gets its first win at Washington since 2018. 2 big wins on the weekend for Oregon as they upset Washington State on Friday and then get the sweep over Washington today.
That's a big weekend on the road for Oregon volleyball.